Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live Out Loud Wednesday. Tonight's topic we have is infidelity. I believe that is a much needed conversation that we all need to have. Why are people cheaters, I guess? Ebony, do you want to start with this one?
Sure. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I think if you're gonna do that, you might as well just be by yourself. I've been a cheater. I cheated before. Like I should have been by myself. I feel like it's a selfish act. Though I do understand how it happens. I do understand how people can get involved with other people. And I do understand how people can feel like they're missing things in their current relationship or partnership. And I do feel like people can, you have your right to feel that what you should do in that situation is you communicate with your partner the areas that you are unhappy in and have that conversation with them and figure out a way to work through it together as opposed to just seeking out attention from somebody else to satisfy a small portion of what you're unhappy with and risk messing up everything else. Um, I I will be honest, like that's something that I'm not going to deal with in a relationship. I'm not going to be with somebody who has that. That'll be the end all be all for me because that's something that I can't it's a form of rejection and mental torment for me that I just can't live in. To each his own. Everybody handles things differently, but the minute that I think you got wandering eyes and you doing wandering stuff, I'm always be looking at you like that, and so I'm not gonna live in misery wondering what you're doing. I don't check phones. I don't go through your personal business. Like I don't have the time and mental space for none of that. Um, I didn't know my ex-husband was doing what he was doing because I didn't check his phone. I didn't do none of that until my mind told me, grab that phone. And that was
Mhm.
the end of it. I was done with him. After I seen what I seen, that was enough for me. Um, I feel like it's I can handle many things, but I don't know. To me, it's something that I feel like a lot of people don't handle maturely. And again, I'm not judging nobody. To each his own. However you feel or about it, cheating, infidelity, whatever your thoughts are. But that's just me. I take that very seriously, and I'm not gonna deal with that. So
How about you, Devin?
Infidelity. So when I think of cheating and infidelity, it kind of brings me to a place where memories come back from relationships I seen growing up. And you see the hurt people have once experienced, and you definitely don't want to ever put that hurt in someone else. So when I think of cheating as an aspect of just dating, you're supposedly in a relationship with a person who is being faithful, and you get cheated on, and the heartbreak that comes with that. I think anytime you love someone and you can see what their likes are, their wants are, their needs, and then you can also see things that hurt them. I feel like when a bond is there and someone crosses that level of, I no longer care about your hurts because I'm being selfish, like Ebony said. It's like it kind of puts you in a different perspective. Like, when you're younger and you're dating, it's one thing. You get cheated on. Okay, you might have a little hurt. It's not really, nothing. I think, but when you're in that big grown age after 30 and you're dating, people kind of date to be more serious. So it's like, that you're dating this person, hopefully for the long haul. Maybe you're not married yet, but you are hoping that this person is being faithful to you, and then you realize they're not. It's kind of like it's that core hurt. It's like, so what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, I could be by myself in my 30s if that's the case. You know what I mean? So I know things happen. I know, because I was a cheater at one point in my teenage years too. Um, could I see me being a cheater at this point in my 30, about to be 38, 39, I'm sorry, about to be 39 in May. Could I see myself doing that to someone intentionally? No. And I only say that because it's like, I know what that hurt feels like. I know what being deceived and lied to and snuck behind my back, and I know what that felt like. That's like a crushing pain of this person never even loved me then. You know what I mean? Because it's like when somebody says they love you, they're taking in all of your good, your bad. They're basically saying, I vow to continue to help you be the best person you are, the best version of you. And how are you helping someone be the best version of them by cheating on them? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I just look at it like that. Maybe I look at it too deep because it's not necessarily like a marital thing, but I don't know. I just feel like grown-ups need to just take life serious, and it's too much that comes with infidelity. There's too many things that can come with it: diseases, babies, all types of things. So it's like people just have to keep in mind that it's not just sleeping with someone or doing whatever it is you're doing. Like, you actually could affect someone else's life. So it's a little more serious nowadays. um, Infidelity, I feel like that word is more for marriage, cheating within a marriage. And my perspective of marriage is when you ask God for forget permission. I'm sorry. When you ask God for permission to marry someone, you are going underneath God's rules of marriage, and you're actually committing yourself to this person and binding with them. And I feel like that's way more sinful than when someone is not married. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because you actually have asked God for permission for this marriage. Otherwise, what's the point of being married? So that I think that's one thing I look at. I take marriage a little serious. My perspective, whenever I get married, I'm hoping it's the only time I get married, just because when it actually happens, I want it to be something serious. I don't want it to be something for play and we do it and then it's done after a year. You know what I mean? Like, I look at it as it's forever. Like, we actually gonna do this. We're gonna write it out. We took our time. We asked God to make sure it was right, and we're gonna do it. And ain't no cheating. What do you mean cheating? Infidelity? What? No. You could have did that when you was younger, before you had me.
Could have.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just my perspective. I mean, life happens. I know sometimes people get into situations to where they're with someone that they love, and maybe it's just not everything they desire, and some people emotionally cheat. I still think that's messed up, only because that's deeper to me. You could sleep with someone and it be no emotions attached. But I feel like when you get a bond and connection, and this person's likes and wants and what they eat on every Wednesday, and what their biggest heart desires, I feel like that's deep to me. That is one of those, oh, you really were out here getting to know someone. Like, you're actually starting a whole nother relationship, whether you were intimate with them or not. That's deep.
Right.
That's my personal opinion. I feel like, and it might, some people have their own opinions, but I feel like anybody can sleep with someone. You can meet someone, go sleep with them, and then the next day you never speak to that person again. Um, is that right? No, of course not. And I'm not condoning that, but I'm just saying that cheating in that perspective, yeah, it's bad, but I feel like when someone has that emotional connection to where it's like, this person actually loves you. Like, they're in love with you, and they're appreciating the same things that their partner thinks is only theirs, and they're enjoying that. I feel like that's terrible. And then my other no go is babies. um, because things can happen. This is a sinful world. Um, the flesh is very weak. So I do know things can happen, but a baby is an absolute no for me. And I'm just saying that, because that when I think of cheating and infidelity, I don't go past that. Baby, oh no, that's a human. Like, there's no coming back from that. No, no.
It's a constant reminder.
There's no I'm sorry's from that because it's like I'm supposed to just sit here and be okay with little Timmy. Little Timmy is the forever forever reminder that you was like F me and went on and did your thing and was happy and now somebody is chasing after our life forever. Like no. So that's my long haul perspective of it, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, cheating is different for everybody. I mean, I know people who, you know, are with people and they both cheat on each other and they're okay with
That's called an open relationship.
yeah, but they
Right.
don't
That's why I said no. It's for me.
Well,
I
okay,
can put up. Mm-mm.
so then what is your guys' mindset on, yes, we're all older now and we should be able to communicate with our partners, right? But what about those that just, if it's not working, it's just not working. And when it's not working, one of the partners just isn't willing to let go. I know that we're talking about infidelity, and so we're talking about more or less marriage, but like whether it be in marriage or a relationship, say you're married to somebody and you finally come to that, crossroads of this is just not working. Like it's not healthy for either of you, but only you get to see that it's not healthy for either of you, and your partner doesn't see that. What do you do in that instance? Like when you're trying to pull away and they're trying to force the situation to continue, do you just move on, or
At 40 plus, I end the situation.
but if
23 year old,
they're not
23-year-old me
willing to
cheated.
let go, how do you do so?
Because you need to understand. Listen, we 40 some years old. I'm not about to sit here and spend the next 37, 45, 80, however many years of my life connected to this. Like we need to come back together if that's where we're going to be, but we really have to have mature adult conversations and actually walk away from things. I ain't know you ain't finna let me go and I ain't finna let you go because obviously this ain't working for neither one of us. Like we both need to figure out where it is or what we need to do ourselves. Now 23-year-old me, I cheated. And I cheated and I told him I cheated and he wanted me to go to therapy and took me and put me in therapy. And then I went to therapy and I still was cheating and still was cheating with the same person. Cheated with the same person for 5 years. 5 years is a long time to be in an extramarital affair with somebody. It's
That
a really long time to be in a relationship with somebody. And that relationship never came to fruition. It never even turned into anything. So all we did for 5 years was commit ourselves to lust, lies, manipulation, and pain and sadness caused amongst four people. Myself, him, and then the two involved. So
question.
I wouldn't have handled it now nowhere near like I handled it almost 20 years ago.
Question.
Yeah.
Could you see you doing that same thing with a child?
If that person had a child,
No, if you had a child, would you be able to still do that? Because I know you didn't have a child at that time.
so if Leah was a factor,
Hmm.
that's a
And
good question.
I think that's what makes things different,
No,
right?
I don't think so because at that point, I didn't have no. I was
And
already in it when she came along, and so I was in the end of it. But come to think of it, my ex husband, I never cheated on him as poorly and bad as he was to me. I never cheated on him. I never even, and I think my kids saved me from that. So
I
that's a
asked
good
that
question.
because I feel like, and not saying people with kids don't cheat. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I think mothers, in their right mind at least, have a different perspective on life. And I feel like when you have a child in the home, it makes you think about who am I bringing in and out
Yeah.
around my children. You know what I mean? You're a little bit more mindful of the things you do, especially
Hmm.
depending on the age. It makes you kind of feel like, and having daughters, things like that. Those are all like contributing factors to where you're like, do I want to be the woman that shows my girl or girls or children
This is okay.
that this is okay, that this is the
Yeah.
way a woman is supposed to act? And I think, you being younger, not having a child at that time, played a factor in that. I mean, because
Hmm.
before I had children, I honestly didn't give a care about a guy. And I'll be honest, like, I didn't. I did not love like I love now. Um, especially having kids. I was not the same person I am now.
No.
After I had my kids, I'll say after I had both my kids, because I was 21 when I had both of them. After I had both of them, it made me think of life differently. Um,
Hmm.
and I just wasn't able to do the same things that I did. It just made me love differently. And the sneaking and all of that, it's just too much to already have to upkeep with taking care of your child. You got your relationship, and then it's like it's too much. So yeah.
Man, moving people's stuff out the house, moving it to the car, moving it to the trunk, moving it back upstairs to the house, taking keys, stealing the house phone, taking the house phone so that if a call came through, that you gotta have the house phone with you. Girl, who the heck got all that energy? I don't got the energy for none of that.
I
I
ain't
ain't
got
got
no
no energy.
energy for none of
I
that.
had so much energy, and I didn't. You're right. I was running around by myself. I didn't have nobody else to be responsible for but myself. And even by the time she came along, I was still in the situation, sort of. But even down to that, like it had changed. Like the dynamic of the situation had changed. I didn't seek the person out and as much, and like he couldn't come around unless she was gone on the weekends. And I but I wasn't with nobody anymore either after that. Like I was single. I had left everything. And that's another thing too. When you get involved with somebody and you walk away from everything, because like they say women are emotional. I walked away from everything. Like I by myself. Like I basically put myself in a position that this man wanted me to be in, offer him to continue to make promises that he never had any intentions on doing. And that's leaving the situation. So 5 years, like you said, emotions and all that, that's a long time to be
Yeah,
messing around with somebody and none came of it, you know? It's crazy. So
experience came from it.
yeah, definitely. Cause like I said, at this age, I don't, man, I don't have the desire or it in me to do so. Um, it's exhausting. I'd rather talk about things. I'd rather communicate my wants, my needs, and my desires. And I'm sorry if you feel like it ain't time to let go, and I feel like it's time to let go. I'm gonna commit you to a psych ward because it is time to let go. We ain't about to tell me what I ain't about to do,
For
crazy cuckoo.
real. I
Put
go
Well,
you in
back.
treatment or something.
well,
Look,
and
I
I say that to say because we have so many situations to where these women are killing these men or these men are killing these women because one is not ready to let go. One is ready to move on and the other one is not. And so, what do we say to our younger viewers in those situations, in those scenarios? Like, I'm not saying that it's okay to cheat, but I'm saying like communication in a
Yeah,
relationship is like a very big factor in how we communicate. Not that I say hurtful things when I'm angry
hmm
and we have a heart to heart when I'm mad and everything that I'm feeling can come out when I'm mad, but we need to be able to have that at idle moments when we're both in the right state of mind
Yeah.
and we're able to actually have conversations, of what it is that I need and what it is that I feel as if you're not doing for me, um, or how it is that I can feel supported by you. So not when I'm angry at you, come to you and tell you of how you're not supporting me and how you're not filling my cup and how you're not doing all of these things, because now you're not going to take it serious. You're going to take it like she's saying this because she's angry and she's just trying to go ahead and hurt my feelings or hit me, in a low spot. But if I come to you on a good day and try to communicate to you and have a conversation with you, you should be able to reciprocate what it is that I'm saying to you.
Well, one thing I did, speaking of, being in a space that's maybe not safe, um, some things I had to do in two of my relationships was call the popo.
Mhm.
I had to get a restraining order, and that just had to be that. Um, because everybody does not take rejection and a breakup the right way. So I feel like anytime you're in a situation to where you don't feel safe, by saying you need to go or whatever the case may be, you need to make a plan. You need to get a restraining order.
Start a
Um,
paper trail.
yep, and you need to make sure that you stand on that. I think sometimes a lot of people don't, follow through with things, and it's like if you have a restraining order and you see somebody say, "Hey, I'm coming to your house. I'll be there at this time. You better be there." Have the police meet them.
Mhm.
Stop playing with your life. Stop allowing people to play with your life. Life is too short. And I personally,
Yeah.
that was one thing I don't play about. Don't come and threaten my life and do all this, especially if I know the person has already put their hands on me. I've been in abusive relationships, and those were the two times I had to do what I had to do to protect myself and my children. So don't feel bad for protecting yourself and your life. Um, like Ed was saying, like at this big grown age, you should be able to walk away. And I
Mhm.
think a lot of times, people stay in relationships just to have someone. And I think we need to stop doing that. Everybody wants someone, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think when you actually see yourself in a situation where either they're cheating on you or you need to cheat on them, that's not healthy. And I think the biggest thing is love is not hurtful. It's not sneaking and lying and cheating or allowing someone to do all those things to you. There's nothing loving about that. There's nothing happy and healthy about any of that. So I think the biggest thing with, you know, surrounding yourself with any individual, whether that be a friendship, because friendships can be abusive, and don't do it. I mean, don't be in people's lives just because you want someone there. It's
Fill
not,
a space.
yeah, it's not healthy. And I think sometimes we don't realize we're doing certain things that are unhealthy because we're just so wrapped up in it. I've been there. I've been wrapped up in dysfunction for years and didn't even know that this is like a whirlwind of me going down a destructive path. And it was like I had to get out. I had to get out. The last time I left, my relationship, I didn't have to call the police. Thank God. Um, I was able to move. I had devised a plan, ended up moving, didn't tell the person where I was moving, and I was able to leave. So, I mean, if it ever got to it, I would have called the police. That was definitely my next step in my plan. But that was one way I was able to get away. So I think, sometimes we get caught up in what we have with people, uh,
Mhm.
whether it be financially, history, and you don't want to walk away from certain things. But I think your peace of mind is the biggest thing that you can keep. And if somebody is driving you crazy on a daily basis, making you want to cheat or cheating on you, um, just walk away. I mean, it's easier to
Love.
just be without than have all the extras. So that's one thing I will say is anyone who's in a situation that anytime you got to kind of question, like, should I be here? Should I not be accepting this? Anytime you have that gut feeling like, I don't deserve this, walk away. Walk away. And I think that's
Well,
that Self-care.
Sex rules the world.
It
You
does.
know, sex rules the world, and a lot of times, men. I'm speaking on men. Men seek physical. Women seek emotional.
Hmm.
When a man feels his sexual needs are not being met, a man will fantasize and most oftentimes gravitate towards wanting those needs to be met and fulfilled in other areas by other women. And all you see on Facebook, Instagram is, excuse my French, ass, ass, ass. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. And 9 times out of 10, then they turn around, they looking at you like, why you ain't, not the fact that you didn't went and you didn't cook a big meal for the family, or you didn't went and worked all day and provided for your household. All they see is this. And so a lot of times, if you're tired and you're not able to meet these needs in that area at that moment, that fantasy comes to light. And then a lot of times people act on those fantasies. Women need attention, crave
Yep.
attention. That man is not giving attention or being attentive to her needs. And all it takes is, sometimes for a lot of women, is for somebody to pay attention to her needs. Conversation: how are you doing today? How was your day? Just really taking an interest in her needs, not from a sexual or physical standpoint, but just from an emotional standpoint. And y'all vibing and y'all having conversations, because that's how it happened to me. We're
Hmm.
vibing, we having conversations, we're listening to music. One thing led to another. Then you tell me about a dream. Then it was over with. You tell me about a dream, and then I start messing up. Like, it's physical and emotional. The problem with that is physical, like Devin said. Physical can be very short term. It can happen overnight, and then you do it one time and it's done. A woman and emotional, you building up to that emotional need to cheat and to be involved with somebody else. And 9 times out of 10, you're looking at your partner like you a lost cause, bruh. Because at this point, she's growing attachments and feelings for this other situation. Whereas the man, he went out, he did what he did. He might feel bad for 20 minutes or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's done, it's over with. As long as don't nobody mention it, don't bring it up, ain't nobody else talking about it. But a woman, that's just my opinion. Women are emotional, men
You
is
hit it on
physical.
the nose.
I have a question.
What's that?
Since, and this is not across the board, but since the majority of women are the ones who take care of the children, would you say it is easier for the men to cheat?
No,
Mm. Nah.
No?
I think it's still equal.
So think
I
about
think
it
it's
in the
equal too.
perspective of, this is a single mother who now has to get a babysitter. They have to go through all these different measures to be able to do certain things. I'm not saying you can't cheat in other ways, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's a little more that, and anybody can cheat. I'm not saying that one is cheating more or less than the other. But I think, in a perspective of a man who maybe has kids with a woman and doesn't live with his kids, maybe he's dating someone. You can easily have someone come to your house versus, this woman who has kids and doesn't necessarily want to bring people around her kids. She got to get a babysitter. She got to put them to bed. She got to do whatever it is she got to do a little bit more than men. I feel like there's a lot of things women had to do more than men, regardless.
There's
But
maybe more steps to it, but I don't think that it means that they do it more or less than the opposite sex. Like, um,
Because they going to find a way to get outside and do what it is they need to do.
women are used to, doing a majority of the extras. So getting a babysitter ain't nothing. Getting a
like,
room
it
and
hard for some people. So if everybody
hey,
ain't
not if you want what you want.
got
Getting a babysitter is not hard when you want to go out. Getting a babysitter is not hard when you want to go to the mall. Getting a babysitter is not hard until You really just don't want to do anything.
You really had me hone in on the fact that I did not have any kids when I was out here cheating with that person. Like until the end, because I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and be like, "I'll be back."
It's different. That's what I'm trying to
He'll be
say. Like,
like, and I'll be like,
different.
"You got something to say?" Like, I'll be back,
It's
But
and I
even
would
if you
leave.
had a kid getting up at 3 o'clock in the
I
morning to
wouldn't be able to do when she came into the picture. I wasn't getting up and going nowhere no 3 o'clock in the morning, but getting them bottles.
but you could if you wanted to.
Yeah, I could if I wanted to.
it's just a little more. It's just more, and it makes you actually. I feel like the more steps, it makes you really think about what you're doing. It's my.
Right.
It just makes you kind of be like, should I
Well,
really?
being a mother, I can't even say being a parent, but being a mother it makes you grow anyhow.
Yeah,
It's like a instant growth spurt. I'm not saying that you are grown, but instantly you are responsible for another person. So
yeah,
that is like a growth spurt there. And then depending on like how it is that you represent yourself as a parent or see
right.
yourself as parenting and like what it is that you want your kids to know and see and the ages of your children. Um, if you are a parent that understands that at 2 years old, your children are sponges and they see everything, they know everything, regardless if you think they do or don't. Um, if you understand that, then yes, you're a little bit more um, kick back when it comes down to doing things like that. But if you're a parent that doesn't even understand that and you don't see your growth as too much of growth, it kind of is what it is. So I don't think that, just instantly being a mother would take you out of that dynamic, but
Yeah,
for some women it can. Some women it can't. And I think that it's all in within the situation as well. Like again, going back to communication, like um for some weird reason in relationships, I don't know why, but communication is like the hardest thing nowadays. Um
It's because people be teeter tottering over each other's feelings and not communicating effectively and appropriately with each other about their needs. They're just coasting.
mhm. And
They're
afraid to be
coasting.
able to tell you that I'm not happy.
yeah,
And
Right.
like why is it so hard for one just to say, you know what, I'm not happy. I'm not happy doesn't necessarily mean that it's a negative or a bad thing. Um, but if you wait until you are so unhappy to where it can't be fixed, then yeah, it is. But why did you wait
Right.
that long? Like the minute you became unhappy or felt like you were having an unhappy moment was the minute we should have been having this conversation. So
Communicate your needs to people.
yeah, and so um, I don't know. I don't condone infidelity. I don't condone cheating. Have I ever cheated in my life? Yes, I have. Um, I can't tell you in those moments of why it was that I cheated. Um, Again, it still resorts back to communication. I wasn't a really big communicator, didn't know how to communicate at that time. And I think that that's one thing that we all need to be able to start teaching our youth is how to communicate, especially jumping into relationships. Like always communicate. And it's not even in relationships, it's just communicating in general. Like if we teach our children how to communicate with us, then they should be able to know how to communicate with anyone. Um, I don't think that I was able to communicate with my mother growing up. So I think that that was a hard part getting into a relationship is how do I communicate with my significant other? I now know that that is a problem. And now I'm able to communicate. Like, I'm going to say how I feel. And if it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. I can always backtrack and I can clean it up a little bit. But at least I was able to get it off my chest. You know how I feel.
we have
Maturity,
a comment
please.
here.
You want to read it?
It says maturity plays a major role in relationships. You can't communicate with a person who doesn't see fault in their actions, low key. Um, yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like a
Right.
lot of people don't take relationships seriously nowadays. I feel like a lot of people are just, going with the flow and doing what it is. And I
In the
think
moment.
people who do take relationships serious are mixing in with those individuals that don't, which is a cause for a bad storm. Somebody's eventually going to get hurt because someone might be dating this person and thinking, I see a future, I love this person, and the whole time the person they're dating is on a whole different level. And I think that's one thing, like y'all said, communication is key. But also just being able to say, you know in the beginning, I don't want anything more than this. Like, I would just like to be with you for this short time. Let's just have fun. Let's not take it serious. But people don't have those conversations.
People
Um,
don't know how to do that. A lot of times people are very people love the supply of what another person can give them. And so sometimes people want to hold on to another person based off of the fact that they give them or provide them with the level of supply, be it how they cater to them or how they take care of them or how they take care of their children or, whatever, and not want to lose that, but still want to be out here doing other things elsewhere.
Absolutely.
We
She
freeze
froze.
up.
You frozen, Devin? Yeah, she is. I think that, like you guys were saying, though, like sometimes people are able to communicate, but the partner is not able to reciprocate. And so I bring that back again as I recall a time where I got into a relationship and I didn't want anything to do with the actual relationship. We were strictly friends with benefits. And it turned into long term, but the other person's feelings started to change and thought, like, if I do certain things, then she's going
A
to,
lot of times people are very so sometimes people want to hold on to another person based off of the fact that they. Hmm.
is that Devin?
I don't know. I think she's trying to figure out how to come back.
And so I don't know. I think that it all depends on the individual and how well you're able to communicate. I think maybe in that time I wasn't able to communicate to the point where the other person understood, like, this is just not going to happen like that.
But it's not always communication, though. Like I
Mhm.
said, sometimes it's just selfish acts. You can communicate effectively, and then you just want what you want, and then at the same time, not want to lose what another person provides you with, or, that's selfish. Just let that person go. It's selfish because you don't want to lose this and then you don't want to lose that. Then before you know it, you in two different relationships or situationships, and that happens a lot. I actually can say that kind of was what happened with me. Like, I didn't want to lose the I didn't want to walk away from my situation because he hadn't walked away from his situation, and one of us needed to walk away first, and then I walked away first, and I became real irate after I walked away because he never walked away, and I walked away from everything and you never walked away from everything. So I became very angry with the situation because I was being selfish. I was communicating. Like, I communicated my needs. I told him, and for me, I think for me, the big reason for me was I just connected differently with this person as opposed to how I connected with the other person. But I told him right away, I didn't completely just keep cheating. After a few times of cheating or sexually or whatever, I did tell him, like, I did this and it was wrong, and whatever you want to do, we can do whatever you want to do. Well, the decision was to stay together, and so I rolled with that. But I mean, 5 years is how long it continued before I walked away. So, are you back? Yay! Hi. Is she back? Because her face is like turning. Yeah, she's back, kind of, sort of.
I
So
don't know
yeah.
if I am.
She's slow motion for you.
Right.
All right.
I was trying to say something and then
Well, you got the floor. Say it. You got the floor now, girl.
I don't know if I'm. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Well, let me turn my camera off and then I'll just talk. Maybe that'll be easier. Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, so I don't know if y'all heard me when I was saying people don't take relationships seriously. And I feel like to blame, and I'll be honest, I know a lot of people don't like when people blame social media and celebrities and all of that. But I think it plays a big part in the way the world now is treating relationships. Cheating and dysfunction is like the new normal. So everyone wants to be the guy that, and I mean, of course, before guys cheated, they wanted to have the most girls and all of that. But I feel like it's more like accepted. Like people are happy that they're having issues in relationships, so then they can post it on Facebook and get 100 likes, and because they're slamming their baby daddy and I mean, don't get me wrong, I've posted things about my baby daddies back in the day and did all of that, but that's not. I mean, I feel like at a certain age you should be past that. And I
Yeah.
mean, everybody has different maturity levels and things like that. But my point is, if we really looked at how people loved each other back in the day, yeah, it might have been grandpa cheating on grandma, whatever, and they had a whole nother family, whatever. But it wasn't like promoted and people weren't happy about it, if that makes sense. Like,
Mhm.
I just feel like all of that is just played too well in social media, and everybody's just looking at it like me being faithful is what did they say, like you're a lame. They look at guys like lames because they're faithful and loving their wives, like Russell Williams and Sierra. They look at him like he's the corniest dude. He's loving his wife. What's so big, you know what I mean? Like, why is he corny? Because he loves his wife. And I think that just shows you how the world is. It literally shows you like these people out here would rather her be in a relationship with Future and being cheated on and him having all different kinds of baby mamas and girls and her being miserable versus being with a man who actually loves her, which is sad to me. So here I'm gonna add the comments in here.
You hit that right on the nose. That is absolutely correct. Everything you said.
Yeah, and it's sad, and I think that's a lot. Another reason why people in the younger days aren't talking about marriage like they used to.
Mhm.
Because they're thinking about somebody playing another one, or they're playing the person that they're dating, so they're not thinking about actually being married. Like, marriage is just not a thing, and it makes you really think about why is the society okay with everybody just out here and doing their thing and being with multiple people. And I mean, of course, certain people go through their phases, and I'm not knocking anybody. But my point is, when you get to a certain age, it's like, okay, now when are you going to take life serious and love someone? When you're on your deathbed? You know what I mean? Like, like people be old now, they want to settle down. Like, dude, you 57. Don't nobody want you after you done played all these girls, and now you sitting up here trying to be, Mr. I love my girl. She's 20. Like, of course you love her. And I'm not knocking anybody who dates older men or women who date younger men. But
Or
my
older,
point
or
is,
older people that are still seeking love.
no, but my point is, don't waste your years doing all this dirt and then try to, at the end, when now you're old and sick and now it's limited people that want you, now you want to settle down. Like, that's not cool with me. I don't. I don't honor that, and that's just my perspective. So
And then some people don't want to let go because they want to lose out on what they think somebody else gonna end up with.
oh,
So they
absolutely.
rather they rather deal like with somebody doing this to them so that they because they don't want to feel like somebody else is gonna reap the benefits of their hard work. That right there is a major part of why people stay in relationships, piss poor ASS relationships because they are so scared that every little brick that they didn't thought that they built within being with another person is going to be overtaken by somebody else. And so they will continue to deal with and put up with everything that a person is doing to them, sadly and unfortunately.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
and
that's.
that's
I'm sorry.
it's a no, that's okay. It's lonely and loneliness,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's the thing is people are scared to be alone. They think they're scared to be alone. This is in my second book, y'all, but I'm gonna say it anyway. They think
Don't
that
get
they're
that.
scared. They just a little bit.
There's
They
a little
scared to be alone, right? But the reality is what they're not realizing is they're not scared to be alone because being alone is peaceful. They're scared of loneliness. Loneliness is disappointment and fear and rejection and sadness and pain. That's loneliness. There's a difference between being alone and lonely. I like to be alone in my bed watching Lifetime movies and the Golden Girls. I love being alone. That's
bit.
my alone time. That loneliness is what has you out here scared, freaked out, don't know how. I don't know how I can live without him. I'm going to be alone. No, you're going to be lonely. You're not
Right.
going to be alone. Being alone probably what you need to be. You're
Mhm.
Right.
going to be lonely, baby. And it's okay to be alone. But lonely, you got to learn how to be alone to walk away from being lonely. And the
Mm.
only way you're gonna do that is you have to know that you can be alone and it's okay, rather than to deal with somebody who's unfaithful to you.
You get to
Yeah.
So
renew yourself.
Mm-hmm. But and then think about, and I know all of us have seen people who are in situations that you look at them like, for real, girl. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you don't want to be alone or lonely, but the piece of the man that you have, what you got going on with him? Because half the time he ain't even got nothing going on. You know what I mean? Like the piece of the man that you're hanging on to is, some shell of a person that is just warming the space next to you in your bed. You know what I mean? Like there
Mhm.
are a lot of people who are dealing with individuals who are just like walking zombies. And it's like, I've
Well,
been there. I've been there.
well, when you get down to the dynamics of that, there is some people that date how they feel about themselves.
True.
And so if they're not feeling good about themselves, of course they're not going to go out here and get that dime. If they're feeling like they're not worthy within themselves or feel like, I have so many things that are wrong with me, a guy is not going to put up with that, then they're going to go and get that guy that they think is going to be able to tolerate and deal with that. And a lot of times we don't give ourselves that grace of thinking like we are worthy enough and we're better than that. And we can have whatever it is that our hearts desire. The sky is the limit. We just have to be able to put the work into it.
Yeah. No, I agree. What would this world be like without people cheating, though?
Mm.
Could you imagine?
Be a lot of married people.
It'd be a lot of, I think, and that's one thing. I'll say I know some people who. Nah, I'm not. I'm not even gonna bring that up because I don't want to put nobody business out there. But basically, um, some people cheat just for the excitement, and I think sometimes a person's life may not be exciting at all, and that is the only highlight to their day or their life is to cheat. Is it right? Absolutely not. No, I'm not condoning, and this is not me saying cheating is okay at all in any form.
Cheating is not.
Yeah, but I think, some people have their excuses of why they do things. And at the end of the day, you're hurting the person that you're with, whether they know about it or not. And I think that's the biggest thing people need to realize is whether it's for you just to have fun momentarily and you really love the person you're with, which is terrible because if this person is doing all these things that you want to keep, you should be doing all those things for them as well. And I think us thinking in a perspective of someone who's out here cheating, you ain't got no time to be loving on the person you loving on because you out here trying to do everything else. And I think that people don't realize that too. Like maybe your relationship would be better if you spent all that time meeting people, dating people, doing all these things, and put that same energy into your relationship, then you would actually have a better relationship. But I think a lot of people, some people are just tired and they're like, I'd rather just go have fun with such and such, and it is what it is. But I mean, it doesn't make it okay. But those are their reasons. So
Yes.
yeah. Well,
Well, I've outgrown it. I've outgrown that stage in my life.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I'm married to my crush. Like, I probably would have, I don't know, dropped anybody and anything for him 20 years ago. Because 20 years ago, every time I would see him, I'd be like, oh my God. My cousins be like, here he go. I'd be like, we ain't gonna let him know that we see him over there. What he doing? What he doing? Look over there. What he doing? Oh, okay. So don't look. Don't let him know. Is he at the water? Is he at Waterworks? Oh, he at Waterworks. Probably you finna go.
Not Waterworks.
Yeah, Waterworks.
I never went there.
You ain't missed nothing, baby.
That was above my age level.
You know what? We're not gonna do that.
I'm just saying. I wasn't.
No, you're probably right because if I was 16, I would have placed you like 13, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely was in Waterworks though.
A little bit less, but yeah.
Yeah, a couple more less.
She talking about 13. I was not. I was still in elementary school, man.
In elementary school when? In 1999?
Ma'am.
98, 97? Maybe
98?
you was. Dang. Shoot. I'm only 4 years older than you. What is you talking about?
Yeah, so I would have been 12 in the 6th grade.
Interesting. That's crazy. Oh, you went there? That's in Egan.
In Egan.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm glad that I'm glad that I'm the age that I am now because I see things a lot more clear. And I wouldn't hurt people the way that I hurt people in my past.
I can agree. I can agree with that.
I can't say that I wouldn't hurt people. I can say I will try my best not to. Like that's not any of my intention, but I can't say what the future holds.
Yeah, I ain't got it in me. I know that I mean, everybody to each his own. I don't have it in me because I've done so much before. It's so life is so exhausting for me. I can't. Cause
any and every time I say I wouldn't do though, I get put to a test, and so I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't do anything.
I understand that, but
I'm gonna say that I have no intentions on or any desires to.
Yeah, I mean, me knowing your personality, the person you are, you would never intentionally do anything to hurt anyone.
Right.
And I mean,
I agree.
I can second that. I mean, I would never intentionally do anything to hurt anyone I love. Can I predict the future? Absolutely not.
I'm talking about cheating. Y'all talking about somebody we love. I'm not.
I'm talking about cheating.
No, I'm talking about cheating too. But I'm just saying, you cannot predict the future, and to say you would never do something that has not happened. And I'm not saying it's okay to say you potentially could be a cheater. What I'm saying is I don't know what my future holds.
Yeah.
So I can agree with Davina to say I don't know what could happen in my future. Would I intentionally do anything to hurt somebody? Absolutely not. Do I
It's
see my
all free will.
Yeah,
It's
do
all
I
free
see
will.
myself
It is all free will, but I was saying that to say, like, I don't know what situation I may be put in tomorrow,
right?
to know how I'm going to react.
Yeah,
I don't know where I'm going to be at in 5 years from now.
right.
It's
Um,
true.
I'm almost done with my divorce, so that means the dating scene is going to be also brand new all over again. So I
Yeah,
can't
Oh,
say
yeah, you're in a different space in your life, though. You know what I
I
mean?
can't say that I
But
would never, and I wouldn't say that cursing myself quick, fast, in
right,
a hurry. So therefore, I want to just put out into the universe that it would never be my intention, nor is it my desire to do so. Like I know that for sure, 100%, I would never want to put another woman in any sort of pain. I do not want to be another woman's pain.
right.
So would that be my intention to deliberately go out and try to hurt another woman? Absolutely not. Um, I now, as the age that I am, try to make sure to the best of my ability that I communicate my feelings, my needs, my wants, and all of that. I tend to get into situations with guys that just don't want to let go. Um, and so I'm going to continue to try to communicate to the best of my ability and to the fullest of my extent and make sure that I walk very carefully on, yes, other people's territory, that other people's possible territory,
Yeah,
meaning that I'm going to do my due diligence and taking my time before I just jump wildly into something. I'm going to really get to know this individual,
hmm,
and do some background checks to know if you are messing with so and so or you're not,
yeah,
versus we just happen to hook up and now all of a sudden a month later I find out that you're also involved with so and so and now her and I have problems. No, I'm not wildly doing anything any longer.
yeah.
I'm going to take the proper procedures on what it is that I think would make it to where we don't have to have those kind of problems.
And I think
yeah,
when you're dating in a later age, I feel like you should be dating with the intent of something.
Mhm.
Whether it be you have a mutual agreement to where this is just going to be fun, we'll just do this, that, the next thing, and it won't be nothing more than that. No strings attached. Or are we dating for the long haul? And I think, you know, a lot of people, and I'll say even myself, in my younger days, that was never agreed upon in the beginning. It was kind of just like you're just going with the flow. It is what it is. I just like being around this person. And then bam, one day you're in a relationship. And the majority of the time, it might not even have been a conversation. It's just like you could have been somewhere with someone and they're like, hey, y'all, this is my girl. And you're like, oh, I'm your girl. And you just go with it. You know what I mean? Like that's happened
mhm.
multiple times where I was just like, okay. And then not even knowing what this person's real intentions are. And I think, by me having teenage daughters and, being, I guess, the public figure that we are, where we're helping other ladies, I think we need to be able to voice that you as a woman or a young girl, or anybody, anybody who's following us, you need to date with intention and you need to have a clear communication on what it is that you are doing with this person. If it's just fun, let it just be that. And if it's something serious, then let it be something serious. But I think that needs to be established ahead of time so no one gets hurt. And I think that's the biggest thing.
And
I like
also,
the three different perspectives because everybody's perspective is different. Like I'm married, so like my perspective is going to be different than yours or
Right.
yours, and yours is going to be different from hers. But I like the different perspectives given because somebody can relate to every place that each individual is in and take that and move with that in their lives to say, hey, you know, this applies to me or this applies to me. So I
Yeah.
think it's great to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's why I like us doing our podcast because we are all different people and we've all had different experiences. And I think that's why we're able to help as broad of a spectrum of people that we can because
Yeah.
we all have been through different things and we are all on different, steps in our life journey. I mean, so yeah, I might not have been through something, but maybe Davina has, maybe Ebony has, maybe Veronica has. So that's how we all bring that sauce, that makes it a whole, amazing combination. So I appreciate all you ladies because we are phenomenal.
That we are.
But to wrap things up, let's give one takeaway to maybe someone who young or old is listening, watching our podcast either now while we're live or later watching the recording. What would be one takeaway when you think of someone who maybe is in limbo? Maybe they're being cheated on, or maybe they are the one who is cheating. What would be some advice or recommendations you would give that person?
Um, if you're out here cheating, be a woman's woman or a man's man. Like, or I would say, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Um, treat people a certain way, treat people a certain way, the way that you would want to be treated. Um, if you are being cheated on, that's a little bit tougher because your emotions and your heart condition is all intertwined in that. But I would just say, um, oh, that's a rough one. If you're being cheated on, basically just take a look at yourself. Look at the differences between being alone and being lonely. Um, you know, there's a lot of different. Call women empowered. How about that? We can have private conversations. Come to Healing 101, Empowered Approach, and Monday Night Support Group. We can help in those areas. Heal with one another, so to speak, because it's rough out here, and it's hard to tell somebody else when you're going through something like that. But you need to know that the support is out here and that we are here and available to help you. So my takeaway is come join one of our support groups. We have them pretty much every day, 5 days a week, pretty much. And we're never going to turn anybody away
Okay.
for needing help in those areas and just wanting to be heard or going through something that they feel may be embarrassing because infidelity or cheating can be embarrassing. um, we are here to support you. So that's my takeaway for that.
I like
I
that.
would say my takeaway is one, communicate and make sure that you always communicate how you feel, what you're feeling, what your needs are. Um, on top of communicating, always be mindful of at what point are you having that communication. I don't think that anyone should ever try to communicate when they're angry. I think that at that time you need to go and settle down, go to your spaces, come back when you're able to actually have a conversation. A lot of times when we are in the mix of trying to communicate, we communicate when we are angry and hurtful things are being said and feelings are getting torn down. We start to punch one another with our words, which then things can take a left and it can go into a different area. Especially with infidelity and or cheating, that can go into a red area real quick. So I would never tell anybody to go ahead and communicate when they're angry. I think that in the mix of you being upset with somebody else, I think that there's another time for you to be able to communicate that, but you should always be able to tell whoever how you're feeling and what your needs are.
I like that too. Um, I guess I would say one takeaway for someone who is watching this live or watching this recording later. If you are the cheater, um, think of life in a perspective of if the person you loved was doing the things you're doing to them, would you
Mhm.
be okay with it? If the answer is no, stop doing what you're doing. It's as simple as that. I mean, just like Eb said, treat others how you want to be treated. What you put out into the universe is what comes back to you. And I do believe karma is real. So
Mhm.
that's one takeaway I would say for the cheater. One takeaway I would say for the individual who could be being cheated on: value yourself more.
Yes.
As much as you are hanging on to whatever your situation is, put yourself in front of that
Mhm.
and really ask yourself, is this something I should be dealing with? And once you start to love you, you will know you don't deserve to deal with that. And I think that's the biggest point I think a lot of people need to kind of get back to is that self love, that self affirming, and really being okay with you, loving you. Don't wait for someone else to love you for you to feel complete, because you'll always be hanging on to someone else's word and actions. Love yourself. And then if someone else helps complete that, that's amazing. But don't hang on to someone's, oh, hey, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, I love you, just for you to feel like a person. And like Eb said, Women Empowered is here for you. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to strengthen every woman and household as much as we can. If we're able to just help save one woman's life, we feel like we have did our due diligence on this world. So never feel ashamed if you are the cheater or being cheated on, because life happens. Some people just need someone to talk to. So don't ever feel ashamed by something that you are dealing with or doing, because there's always an end result to make things better. And that's my takeaway. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. If you attend Prayer Line is happening now. So jump on Prayer Line. And we will be back with y'all next week with a new topic. We appreciate and love y'all. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.